Hey there, my sweet friends. I hope you are all well. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I hope that you are all well. And I have this folio created today for those of you who like a more sweet and simple style. It doesn't have all the dimensional embellishments, and it is created exclusively from paper. And so this is achievable by most everyone, and I think that it has a lot of great little details, and it will be a really sweet way to capture all of your pictures and memories. So if that sounds good to you, then stick around and we will make it together. So here's that paper pad I'm working with today, and I get this from Hobby Lobby. The bright, cheerful patterns are so lovely, and those florals. Now, for some other projects that I worked on with this, I did supplement it with some additional geometrics just so that I could stack these patterns and it would be a little bit less busy. So this is a single-sided pattern, and the quality of the paper is really nice. So I felt confident that I could build some envelopes, and then it would give me enough structure and stability for this flip book to be nice and chunky. So let's get working on those envelopes. Got my trimmer here, and my paper needs to be cut to 8 1/8 for this size of envelope. And so let's just cut that. Make sure that you hang on to these offcuts because that's what we're going to use to build our inserts. So these are going to come in handy in just a bit. Now, of course, an envelope needs to be a square. So let's cut this side as well. So I'm planning to use this measurement. I know you can't see that on camera, but it is for a 4.5 by 5.5 inch greeting card. And so this says after you cut it 8 1/8 square that you would use the 3 3/4 measurement. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm punching and scoring, and I'll repeat that process until I got all the way around. Before I'm done with my envelope punch board, I do want to use the opposite side of that punch and round those corners for all 4. Then I'm also going to use my score tool to come in here and really reinforce that score so that I get a good crisp crease. For the envelope to work as a pocket, I will be closing up the bottom as usual as a standard envelope, but before I do that, I want to fold the top in here, and then this will provide the pattern on the inside. So next I want to add a little of my adhesive to close up the bottom of this envelope. Now I'm just being careful to keep that adhesive low enough so that we don't accidentally seal this up, because remember, we want this to be a pocket. I have prepared 3 additional envelopes. I'm just choosing those 4 patterns because I think that they look really nicely together. There were enough available patterns that you could use more of the pinks and get a similar but very different look, but this is the one I'm choosing to work with today. So of course we have 4, and then we are also going to need something to connect them and something to be a cover. So I have my cover pattern chosen here, and it is going to be 5 5/8 by 9 1/2, and also scored at 4 3/4. And then of course we have 1 for each the front and the back. Now how we are going to connect these is with some additional strips of paper. These are 5 5/8 by 2 inches wide and then scored at 1 inch. So for 2 of them, I have tape on the inside and then also the outside, and you'll see that in just a second. So for the front cover, I have my connector here, and I have the adhesive on the left-hand side. And then I also have adhesive here on only one side of this score line. So what I want to do is rest my paper right into that score line so that I know I have a good contact, and then fold that over, and that will seal up the side of the paper. Now I'm coming in to remove the backing from this portion of the cover, and then fold that over, and that will sandwich that connector in between those layers. So now what I can do is continue to work along by pulling this side of the tape and then adhering it to the envelope. So for these portions, I will be utilizing my 2 glue combo. And then I'll just pull this up so that I can line up my edges well. And now you can see how this has connected the envelope to the cover. So I have 3 additional pieces that are cut for adhering the envelopes together, and I have put my adhesive on the outside of this on both sides, and it will be much easier to pull the backing from one side and then adhere it to the envelope and then adhere the other side. So let's just go ahead and get these all lined up. Now you can see, once we start flipping, we'll have our pockets here and then they're connected. I'll repeat that for the next 2 envelopes. So now that we have all of our envelopes adhered, I want to attach the back cover. And so remember that we have tape on the inside and the outside for this, and I want to attach this, and then I will add the back cover the same as I did the front by sandwiching this flap inside. Then last but not least, I'll just pull those remaining tape backing off. Okay, so let's work on the inside. We've got all of our pockets here adhered. Now, remember that I said we're keeping the offcuts for the inserts. And so I have some pattern paper here cut to be 4.5 by 5.25. And I'm just going to adhere the offcuts to the back side. So even though it is a single-sided paper, I am going to cover it with the pattern. And so let's just line this up here. And remove the excess. Just adding these, and then I will use this additional offcut as a layering pattern. And now I do have all 4 of those prepared now, and let's just alternate them when we add them to the pockets. This is going to add quite a lot of thickness and sturdiness for our pages. Another detail that I thought would be fun to add would be some photo mats. So I chose from that paper pad the least busy pattern, and I used an oval with a pretty scalloped edge and stitch detail to cut that out. And so I want to add this for each of these pages. And I think that layers really nicely over our connector and our envelopes. There is plenty of room in the pockets for additional flat keepsakes and mementos, so you can really load that up. As I mentioned, I did want to keep this more as a sweet and simple style, and so I am going to forego the usual dimensional items that I typically like to add to decorate the front, but that doesn't mean that I can't add some detail. And so I have cut more of that pretty polka dot from the inside, and I'm going to just center that, and then I'll top it with a frame here. Now this is the same die that I used for the inside. It has that scalloped edge. You can't see the stitch detail because of that glitter, but it is there. So I took a smaller oval die and I just clipped out the middle, and so this is going to create a nice frame. I have some double-sided tape here, and I'm going to add just a little bit extra of this Tombow to make sure this is well secured. And then just layer that over that polka dot pattern. Just trying to make sure I get that pretty even and straight. One of those patterns from the tablet did have some pretty roses, and I was able to fussy cut around that so that I can use this as a focal image here on the cover. And I did want to add just a little bit of extra detail for that. So I have a couple of pieces here that are just die cut leaves. Now I can add my flowers. One additional element that I was able to cut from that paper is a little butterfly, so I wanted it to come out of my floral display up here, and then this one is going to finish the decoration for the top cover. Now, this is the perfect sweet and simple envelope folio. If you wanted to, you could include those dimensional items if that makes you happy, and you could also include a ribbon closure, but I think this is great for a just paper folio, and so we get a lot of detail, we get a lot of fun interactive things to do, and this will be a great way to capture your pictures and your memories. And I think that you will be making these for every occasion and every holiday. So that's going to be it for today. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check in the description for links for all of our socials. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.